And yes, I'd be an advocate for building more prisons. I'm an advocate for throwing more people behind bars. I'm an advocate for allowing the police officers that are on duty right now listening to me to get a chance to do their job. And when they find somebody breaking the law, those folks end up going to jail. Period. End of story. So to my friends in the police force, my friends in the Department of Corrections, we're with you. This show is behind you guys 100%. And if we find out that there's some folks acting inappropriately in those positions, right? If there are cops who aren't great cops, or if there are prison guards, and there are some who are unscrupulous and terrible human beings. And I heard rumors, they're having sex with each other, they're doing this, that, and the other. Those guys and gals gotta go. Right? If we're gonna back you up, we're gonna back up the folks that are worth backing up. We're not gonna back up somebody who's a dirtbag. And if we ferret out the dirtbags, okay. Now unleash law and order on the rest of the state of Connecticut. And we're behind you 100%. Again, the amount of folks who fall into that category B of not being upstanding, hardworking, American citizens, Connecticut citizens that are police officers and Department of Correction folks are probably less than 2%. So that's always factored into the equation. I know that's part of the left's argument, not the left's, but the progressive argument about this. So we factor it in. So anyway, I wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. I thought that was an interesting conversation that I had yesterday. Number two, I'd like to talk a little bit about people who are working two jobs and still not making ends meet. People that are getting up before the sun rises, going to bed after the sun sets, who are not able to save enough money, put away to give them a breather, right? People may be working at Walmart during the day and unloading trucks at night, or driving an Uber, or folks who are just putting the time in and they're trying their best, but still they can't get ahead. And those folks I have a tremendous amount of respect for and sympathy for. The ones I don't are the ones who sit on the couch and choose to live, let's say, as many do in other parts of the country, where they just sit and suckle at the teat of the American taxpayer. And the Democrat Party used to be the party of the working people, but no longer. More than 80 Democrat mayors have signed on to Mayors for Guaranteed Income. Have you heard about this? Their goal isn't to help people become self-supporting and move up the economic ladder. To the contrary, Guaranteed Income, the programs support non-working lifestyles. I do not want to be responsible for someone's life choice of not working. We're all for helping out folks who have fallen down a couple of times. I can see that. Depending upon the situation, sure. But what's going on is a stark contrast to Bill Clinton's 1996 welfare reform, which made the cash payments contingent on working or looking for a job or completing school. What we've got now is just simple here's money. We know the world's a tough place. Here's some money. Really? The founding fathers, you think that was in the back of their brain somewhere along the line? 245 years from right now, where we're all sitting here putting our lives on the line, risking our risking our fortunes, our lives, and our sacred honor, where some lazy SOB can get a $1,000 check every month because? You think John Adams was thinking about that? Today's Democrat Party has another agenda, redistribution of wealth. And they want to do it to favored groups. In Denver, the city council voted that only homeless women, transgender women, and gender non-conforming individuals would be eligible for the no-strings monthly payment. How about that? So they've got to be a homeless woman, which I would be more than happy to figure out how to help, how to lift them up. I don't know why a transgender woman falls into that category. Somehow are they not able to work? Have they been discriminated against that badly where they can't get a transgender person can't get a job? I doubt that. And I'm still confused about what gender nonconforming means, which I guess means you don't identify with any gender. So does that mean if I got behind this microphone today and said, I'm declaring myself gender nonconforming, I don't know how I feel today. I feel a little bit feminine. Does that mean Denver's going to send me a check? Because if so, I'll get behind the mic and say that. Want to send me $1,000 check? It's an absolute farce, and it's a joke. And y'all know it is. There's a professor out there, Derek Hamilton, an advocate for reparations. One of my favorite things to talk about. Somehow I owe money for the transgressions of 12 generations ago. Says the purpose of guaranteed income is to close the wealth gap between races. Poverty is not race neutral, he says. The remedy isn't job training or work incentives. It's using government power to redistribute wealth. You can't make this up. This is people in academia. No, it's forget about trying to make somebody's life better. Let's just give money away. You happen to have a different color skin than me, so we're going to write you a check. It's amazing. When you stop and think about it for a second, that there are actually people out there who are they're behind this, like 100%. They buy into it. Like somehow somebody else, because of their success, owes somebody else a guaranteed income because of their laziness. Or even worse than that, because of the color of their skin. I'd be offended. If I were a black man, I'd be offended. If I was a transgender, I'd be offended. I don't need your help. Stand on my own feet. Right here in Connecticut, by the way, one wealth redistribution scheme. It's called baby bonds. Did you know this is actually happening in the state of Connecticut? Other states are considering it. Every newborn in Connecticut whose birth is covered by Medicaid, including children of undocumented parents, look it up, will automatically be given $3,200 in an account managed by the state treasurer. I had a chance to talk about this the other day with somebody, and I forgot to bring this up. With interest earned, it can be worth like $11,000 by the time they get to 18 and collect it. And that $3,000 isn't just, it's not monopoly money. It's real money. It's out of real dollars. It goes on to say minority children are less likely to have inheritances or college funds put aside by their parents, explains Rep. Geraldo Reyes, who is the chairman of the legislature's Black and Puerto Rican caucus here in Connecticut. Connecticut taxpayers are ponying up $50 million a year to fund nest eggs for these primarily Black and Latino babies. Once again, if I were someone who fell into that category, I'd be offended. I'd be offended. Free money? For what? Because of the color of my skin? Really? I'm offended by that. I'm offended by that. Guaranteed income advocates are pushing Congress to act next. Some folks are proposing a federal program to send monthly payments to non-earning, low-earning adults with additional payments for each child. Of course, Mayor's guaranteed income are looking to the federal government again for help. Instead of self-reliance, these programs foster a cradle-to-grave dependence on government. It's the plan. I give you money, you owe me. You vote for me. You keep me in power. They're calling it redistributive justice. If it weren't true, it'd be unbelievable. So if Democrats secure majorities in both houses, they're ready to push for this. Another reason why you can't let them get it. If you're a working person, if you're one of those working I guess, stiffs that I was talking about in the beginning. Somebody who works 60, 70 hours a week. You should be mad as hell. You should be mad as hell and not willing to take it anymore. This is not the America that your forefathers drew up. This is not an America, certainly, that your grandparents lived in. Your grandfather or great-grandfather would spin in his grave if he knew that you were taking money from the government because of the color of your skin, or because of your sexual preference, or because of what side of the block you lived on, or whatever concoctive, crazy sort of narrative that the government tries to draw up to transfer somebody who's working and their money to somebody who's not, because the haves somehow owe the have-nots. It's not a country that, it's certainly not a country that I would want to live in. Not the country that was built on the back and strength and work ethic of our forefathers. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Bottom of the hour next.